My name is Damali Sali and I welcome you to this episode of the Ideation Corner. The Ideation Corner is a space where ideas are discussed and dissected. And today I host Barbara Kasekende. Barbara is a firm believer in the notion that you only live life once, and to live it to the fullest, you must have an impact on others. She is a daughter, a wife, and a mother of two beautiful boys. She is also a mentor and a coach, and she loves in her free time to do the performing arts and also jogging. In addition to that, Barbara works with Stanbic Bank on the National Schools Championships, where she engages the young minds of Uganda to do incredible things. I am very happy to host Barbara the Ideation Corner today, where she's going to talk to us more about the National School Championships. So Barbara, you're very welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Damali. By the way, I love the way you look. You're my kind of woman.
Thank you. I love your African print too.
Thank you.
It's really cool. But tell me more about the Stanbic Bank National Schools Championships. Give me an overview. What is it?
Okay, before I get into the Stanbic Bank National Schools Championship, before one runs any program of that nature, you have to love it. Your whole heart has to speak it. Otherwise, the direction and vision of the program would not be there. When I was younger, I was a very troubled young woman. I was heavily misunderstood in school. I was heavily misunderstood at home because of the character and the type of person that I was. And then I got lost in that, thinking that I was
There's something wrong with you.
There was something wrong with me. And it took me a while to find myself. And I realized that from the beginning, even when I left Uganda to go to America, I still went with that burden of I was not that kind of person that I needed to be in America. I was very individualistic. But one thing it taught me is that even within that time, I still got approached by a lot of people, young people, talk about certain things. How can you help here? For some reason, I always attracted
to the young.
Yes, I was always attracted. And I realized that, okay, Barbara, now I think it's the time for you to focus and figure out exactly where it is you would want to create change. Even when I was in school, my mindset was everything I did, I had to help somebody. So when I joined Stanbic, it was not because it was an available job. When I joined Stanbic, it was strategic. That is where I wanted to be. I didn't
you knew?
I
That's
knew
where
why.
you needed to.
Yes. And the reason why, as Barbara, I wouldn't have been able to impact the number of students and young people I would have wanted to impact as Barbara. I needed, what do you call it? An enabler to help me to do that. And when I looked around, I was like, there's a financial institution that is trying to run some programs, but I think I can do a better job because it is a big brand and it reaches a lot more people. And that's how I got to join Stanbic, though it took me 3 interviews within Stanbic to get this job. So when I joined the bank, national schools was more a debate, more than anything else. I think there were some questions and things like that. Just like you've seen those debate competitions happening. And then I knew that the debate, yes, is there, but it's actually not touching the lives of these young people. They're either winning or losing.
Yeah, what happens?
What happens afterwards? So you come, you take a trophy, you take gifts, you go. And that's
then
it.
what?
And then we came up and said, we have a challenge in Uganda today. 80% of our population is under 30. And the biggest chunk lies between the ages of 30 and 25.
And no one talks
about it. We like to talk about the youth above the ages of 25 to 35. And we don't, this age, too young, too young. But they're not as young as you think, because if that age group has not decided where they need to go in the future, they can.
By the time they're 25, they still
exactly. We will be here. Unemployment, God help me, the kids don't have jobs. But what jobs are the kids going to do that they love, that will actually add value to this country to take it to the next level? You see? So national schools, we came up with a theme, empowering the job creators of tomorrow. Right. We want them to be job creators, not job seekers. Tamal, did you know that the penetration of education, maybe just to give you some statistics, at primary 7, only 7.5% of primary going school children finish?
7.5%?
In under... At most 8.
Really? That is such a small amount.
Of those 8%, only 5.4% finish at secondary school.
So we have a huge population that actually doesn't go through the school.
Exactly. Now, by the time you reach university, it's 40,000 graduates to 9,000 jobs. And that was before COVID.
Oh, yes, because now we've lost several jobs now. Okay,
but 40,000 to 9,000 jobs.
Every year you're actually creating a bigger chunk of unemployed.
My point.
Yes.
But that's a very small, it's just a 1% of kids that should have actually gone through university and you understand.
So what happens to all these others who are left in primary?
My point exactly. So the point of national schools is for these ones that have gotten a chance to go to school, how can we empower them to become job creators for those
who may have dropped out?
Exactly. Okay. So how can we create an ecosystem where kids can help themselves without coming to us for help? And our job is to enable them to get there, and then they can help each other grow. Because at any rate, this country is going to be theirs.
Yes.
Some of us are in the top 15%. Can you imagine? I should be 35 forever. Right, I'm not even closer to 30. We already left our 30s. So national schools tackles that. The unemployment thing is going to be a song we shall sing for forever
if we don't tackle it.
If we don't tackle it at that age. Because what we are trying to do is if a child can find themselves at 13 and their vision is clear, by the time we reach 25, we will not have issues of unemployment. When I've been going to Barbara to ask for a job, you come to her desk. Barbara is not going to give you a job, my dear. It ain't gonna happen. Okay? So either you find something to do, and even by the time you reach Stanbic and out of the, like I kid you not, in February, I think I got like 30 resumes and all of them were upper what? What do they call it?
Upper second, upper whatever.
University here. Upper, yes.
Upper second,
upper Semenya one.
Yes.
Those things. I got 30.
For one job.
For one job. For just give me anything. So even for Stanbic to hire you, what makes you unique? What are you going to bring to the table that's different? Out of the 30 resumes, you one person, if I was to choose one, what makes you unique? What are you bringing to the table? And that's what we are trying to teach.
What about the other 29 who still
thank you very much. And that's what we are trying to teach in the national schools. So that by the time, and we're not telling kids get out of school, that's not what we're saying. But what we're saying is as you are in school, do you have a vision of where you want to be in the future? And that's what national schools is bringing to the table. So that by the time we're done, even as a businessman or a businesswoman, and on top of that, if you become a businessman or businesswoman, are you also impacting your community in a positive way? You see, because you're just not extracting. So you're not extracting from the environment you're living in. I mean, humanity still has to exist. So in fact, a lot of our programs run around the sustainable development goals because we want these kids to know that, sweetheart, if I cut all these trees, you are doomed.
Tomorrow what will happen?
Tomorrow what will happen? If these water sources are ruined, you are dead. Yes, and all these diseases that we are getting, and the reason I think why Uganda, I know probably COVID has been around for some time, but because of our trees and our nature and the climate, there's so many beautiful things. You want to take all that away? So we want to teach the value of protecting the environment and also empowering your community when you're still young. You don't have to wait to be Barbara's age
for you to start
saying, now let me go and help. You understand? And that has to be in line with your vision. So if you're doing your job and maybe you end up saying, okay, I want to work for Stanbic because I want to help women understand savings better. And that is why I'm getting the job in Stanbic. Then your job will make sense. You see, because your whole point of getting that job is not just a paycheck. Or if I'm going to open a business, that business I'm going to open a boutique, I want women to be, I'm just giving an example, to be more confident in themselves. And because of that, I will sponsor, I don't know, so many things for a bunch of women. Maybe I'll go to what are they called, a slum somewhere and do my photo shoot with those women to give them courage to think about themselves. So your business idea, even if you want to work for an organization, it has to make sense to you in regards to how you're going to impact
also someone else.
Exactly.
Okay.
So it is a lot of national schools is a lot of things that we try to tackle, and people keep telling me, "Oops, you've opened another Pandora box."
Thing.
And I'm like, and that's okay to open, and that's okay. And that's where we're going, and that's what we have to teach at a young age.
So walk me through, how does a school join the national school championships?
Now that one. So we already have 200 schools on our platform, but the championship itself is just 100 schools. Okay. To make the championship exciting, you can't have 3,000 schools in one place. And also, by the way, this is really more in secondary school because that is the age gap that we are really trying to tackle. Primary school, a little bit too young, but secondary school definitely. So
and that's a bigger chunk.
And that's the bigger chunk. Yes. At least by the time they reach university, they already have a direction that they want to go, whether it's vocational, the direction has already been set. So we set out as at February 1st, school calendar. Of course, the school calendar is what determines. We put out a call for entries in the newspapers, on radio, on TV. It's all over the place. You have to look out for me. No.
Google Barbara
Kasekende. But so the first week of school, the moment the kids get back, that call for entries goes. And trust me, most schools are already ready. They're waiting. They're waiting. So many are calling. Give us that. So that's normally what happens. So that's how a school enters. It's very easy. But there's a series of questions that also form our criteria. So even then, the championship has to make sense also from Stanbic Bank's perspective and from the school's perspective. So if you're joining, it is not just a fun fact for a trophy. As I said, the school has to fully commit to run the 9 months.
So it's the school that runs the initial part of the program.
So the initial part, this program is a holistic program. We want the school fully involved and also accept the program. Not accepting it because we are forcing them, but accepting it because it's adding value to their students. So the school takes up the first two tiers of the championship. So there are 4 stages. So the first 2 stages the school takes up. So of course that is the first stage where there's a general paper, and that paper always makes me I laugh and I say we have some work to do in our schools, because if a child does not know what's going on in America with the presidents, if they don't know how to start a business,
how to register for a business,
or how do I save my money? They don't know what NSSF does.
But we're never taught that.
I know. But you see what we are saying is school is not the only place to have an education.
All right.
You can have it out of school. And normally when we have the schools on and we bring them on, that is what we're trying to teach them. And we're trying to tell the teachers, yes, we have textbook knowledge, but can you please go
practical
further and help these kids understand the area and the environment they're going into. You can't stick, I'm using Baraza was P7, but what books, I don't even remember the books we used in secondary school. Yet there's a lot more that's happening right now. So like in regards to
I remember
physics. Physics. So, but you understand what I mean? Yes. So, if it's a physics textbook, can you put a practical example? And now it's COVID. So, if you're doing biology or whatever, and use COVID as an example, for example, don't use the example in the book that was used 70 years ago. My point. So, and that's why when we give this test, we also want to show teachers how important it is for these kids to know what's going on around them. It might not be America, but at least in Uganda what's going on from a political arena, from a business arena. And a child is never too young. It's also a learning initiative for the students, for the teachers as well. But the second one is, once that is done, it's 100. We choose 100 students. The teacher, the school, chooses 100 students per class, so from senior 1 to senior 6. That's how big our schools are.
Okay, wow. Yeah.
It's more than that. You have 2,000 students in one school. So the most we can take is 100 because it's manageable to sit those tests. Then they choose the top 10.
Okay. Again, the school is
the same school. The school is doing that. We're completely out of it because we want them to own this program.
They have to own it.
They have to own it. And then once that is done, the top 10 students are then tasked to find a solution for a problem within their school community. And they can also use the same business idea from a business perspective out of the school, but speaking to the sustainable development goals.
Okay. So it has to be a real problem.
It has to be
not a hypothetical.
No, because you are going to implement that business.
Right. So it has to be real.
Yes, so it has to be real. And you have to tell us why you've chosen it. So it is not just, maybe let us sell samples. Why? And what problem is it solving?
And how does it help anyone else?
And how does it help anyone else?
Okay.
And how is it impacting the community? What is it you're trying to achieve? Is it teaching kids how to make stuff by themselves? What are you trying to achieve? And we want the kids to think, because adults struggle with that even with their businesses. You just start because your friend Fiona has started.
Yes, always. You're like, she's making money. She's baking cakes.
How? I'm starting to bake. Then you forget about the back end and all that. And the back end starts with your heart. Is your heart?
Are you passionate about it? You care about cakes.
My point. So, and that is what we are trying to teach. So by the time they reach that point, the school still chooses the best team out of the 6. Still the school.
Okay.
Out of the 6 business ideas from senior 1 to senior 6.
Which is
and that is now the team that we take up.
Okay.
To go into the championship. And at that point, then we take it up and we have our business analysts that choose the top 4 businesses that represent each region. Each region has 25 schools that represents it. So that's how the criteria leads us to 25 schools per region. And then we get into the semifinals where it's the top 4 schools per region with their business ideas. They have to be innovative, speaking to real, so everything has to really speak real problems and, how is it? So by the time you reach there, your business is really speaking to that. And then by the time we get to the finale, we've come up to 1 regional representative. So Northern region will have
one school per region.
One school per region for the finale. And then you have a national winner. However, I keep saying and I keep stressing, the gifts are beautiful, but the program is not about the gifts. The gifts are an incentive.
No, it's the process.
It is the process. They have to learn from it. Like our friend we just met, Josephat now.
Yes.
His school never made it at all. But that's where this young boy who innovated a peeling machine came from. And all these are kids that started with ideas.
But you opened up their minds to the fact that, I could do this.
Exactly. Because now he's running his own business. And we've invested
in him.
How old is he? He's 18. And he has his own agri-business. And we've invested, we've given him, I think, close to 3 million shillings. We're going to add him another. Yes, and we're giving him another 4 million. We are taking him for training at a farm so that he can learn what proper agri-business means, both on a local perspective and on an international perspective. So he has a 3-month scholarship. And then from there, the chances are quite...
This sounds a whole lot bigger than what I think of it,
It's not a championship.
I only think about the champ. As you can see, in your intro, I was like, that's National Schools Championship, that's it. But it's bigger than that.
Yes, it's an ecosystem. And what we've realized is, they keep saying a child is raised by a community, but does the community raising the child know the child? And most people can never answer that question.
No, the community just like, this is it.
This is it, and this is what you're supposed to do. So when you look at the child's ecosystem, it has a parent or a guardian. It has a teacher. It has an administrator. It's a whole ecosystem. And this program touches the whole ecosystem to the extent that teachers have started their own projects as well. They're like,
teachers in the schools who run the initial program.
But wait a minute, this child cannot be richer than me. They've started. Okay, I have to say some teachers have left the teaching profession. But that's okay, because if you found yourself, it wasn't what you wanted. A lot of them tell you, we're doing this because it was the only available, course at university at that particular point in time. Yes.
I remember a lot of people would do education.
And SWASA, and I don't know, those ones. But for me, I don't term it as a loss, because I would rather someone be in that profession
who is passionate about it, who
wants it. And we've had teachers who are earning up to 5 million shillings, but they're still teachers.
Okay, so they're really passionate about the teaching.
Exactly.
It doesn't matter how much money they're making outside of it.
Yes, so that ecosystem, you're having teachers. In fact, next year we are adding a teacher tier for investment as well, to show them that actually they truly matter as well. They need to build themselves. And a lot of the teachers are quite young actually, which is interesting.
They're usually young, actually.
So so it works well for them. But then on top of that tier is the parents. We've realized a lot of, especially now during COVID, a lot of the businesses that survived under the program were run by the students and their parents.
Oh.
Yes.
Those are the ones that were really sustainable.
Yes, and the parents, now the kids are back in school, the parents are running the businesses.
Give me some examples.
So for example, in Food Portal, we had a young lady, when the schools closed, her parents offered to take the business in their home. So that her counterparts used to come and do the business with her. But eventually, so she took up the business with her parents at home. Her name is Mariam, at home. And then, of course, they were called back. S4.
Called back to school.
But, yes, called back to school. But the dad would go out and get to the farmers, get the milk.
What were they doing?
Would ensure who was doing what?
What business was it?
Ghee. Okay. They were doing but not your standard ghee. For them, they said ghee is a delicacy, but some people don't like the smell of it. So they just tweaked it a bit and put 6 different flavors.
Flavored ghee.
Just flavored ghee. And indeed, they call it miracle flavored ghee. I was amazed by it. I mean, the garlic one is just exceptional. You have garlic, you have coriander, you have very interesting. And but it's really, really good.
It's a healthy.
Yes, it's a healthy
fat.
Yeah, let's convince ourselves.
No, it's healthy. So now, when she was go back to school, the parents are doing it.
The parents are now doing it.
And they're earning an income
right now, even at Stanbic, we normally give them a stall over the weekend, and they come and sell it at the Stanbic Food Portal branch.
Oh,
yes.
that's
So this ecosystem also includes the whole of, it's not Barbara. It's
the whole.
Yes, because you see, and again, if you don't love this, it is difficult for you to do it. Thank God, a lot of the Stanbic Bank staff members also understand it and love it, because they see themselves, they see their children, so they actually can connect with it. But this girl, the parents now do, and they're the ones that take the kid to the stores.
Imagine that.
And that's one. In northern Uganda, there's a 13-year-old young man named Emma.
13? 1-3.
1-3. 13 years. That shows you a child is never too young to start. Emma's mom has a broken back and his dad is bedridden. I think I have to check on them because as we went there, we weren't sure if he would even make it through the night. He has a long-term illness. But this boy said that won't deter me. They live in a grass-thatched home, very neat homestead, grass-thatched, hut. Those things that we see on TV when they're promoting tourism of Uganda, those ones. And he goes to Ocha Campion, a senior secondary Jesuit in Gulu. But this boy said, I will still run the business. And the mother said, that's fine. I might have a broken back, but we can still do this. And they started just juice, but unique juice, like avocado. And I was looking at this boy, I'm like, avocado lemonade. I'm like, lemonade. And in that village of like around 3,000 people, they're the only ones selling that type of juice.
And they sell it.
And they sell it and they're making money. And that boy, and on top of the juice, okay, they have accompaniments like, samosas and blah, blah, and so on and so forth. The boy was even asking for a pizza solar oven. And I'm looking at him like, Emma. Okay, anyway, but again.
But why not?
He's read about it. He's not been exposed to go to expensive restaurants, but he's read about it from a humble beginning.
He wants to do it.
And his mom, then we found out his mom catered for an English home. Some time back when she was still much younger, you see. And she's like, no, that's okay, I can support my son. We can do it. Yes, we can do it. And by the time I went there, he had saved up 500,000 shillings and another 100,000 with a circle.
13 years old.
13.
Wow, incredible.
13 years. So when you hear such stories and you look at the impact and the ecosystem of national schools, it has nothing to do. It's bigger than that. It has nothing to do with the student, because that student affects. Remember, for every time we impact someone, we affect at least 17 people. One person has at least 17 connections.
Yes. Because now if I think about that 13-year-old boy, his family, the community, other 13-year-olds looking at him and saying,
my point exactly.
Excuse me, I can do this too.
Exactly.
If he can, I can do it too.
And because of that, Stanbic is going to invest in him a lot more. He's going to do a kiosk. So we are going to do a kiosk for him in the home, because the clients come home and it's easier for the mother to be able to serve the clients at home. So we are going to do a nice little kiosk for him and everything else. Who knows? It could even be an agent banker. These things have a way of working out, because there's no agent banking. There's no agent in their home.
And it's clearly entrepreneurial.
Yes.
So you can.
Yes. And he's 13, and already the mom says now he's sorted for school fees, which is beautiful.
Oh, she doesn't have to worry about that. No. On top of her health, at least this is what.
So that's why the kiosk is home, and Emma goes back to school. The
mother can still run it, or the family can run it. That way, you're empowering, in fact, the whole family.
And he's an only boy. Mom had complications, so he's an only boy. So you can imagine
the impact.
And that is
so he has siblings as well.
Yes, there's no siblings, but the mom has what do we call sisters, brothers?
Yes,
so they come and help out.
Okay.
But I mean, that is how this small. Emma's business is what? Juice. It's not a random innovation. But for his village, he's the only one doing it. See? And this is what we want to make people understand.
And it's the entrepreneurial spirit.
Exactly.
Like you can do
anything. Yes. And he found a gap in his community. He found a gap.
Identify a gap. People like juice.
So now you can imagine.
What is so special about the
juice? Thank you.
But then what was special about the ghee? The ghee, she found, like, you know what, I can add value.
Exactly.
Add garlic, and we have garlic.
And she has a lot of clients, including Sheraton, who keeps asking for but we're now building capacity for her to be able to do big hotels like Sheraton Kampala Hotel. You can't believe. Okay.
So does Stanbic Bank support these innovative ideas, the 16 or the top 4? Are they the ones you provide the little seed funding and then they move on?
Yes, we provide. So the top 16, that is 4 representatives per region. We provide seed capital. However, We just finished an M&E the last month. We're in the field visiting over 30 projects. I think we're in over 20 districts, quite a number. And in those trips,
I saw you all over the country. I saw you all over, having fun.
It's like I
can't believe she's calling this a job when she's just going out there enjoying herself.
Enjoyment might be skewed, but you take time to. I think Uganda is a beautiful country.
It is really, because your pictures were really so pretty, and I was like, "What? She's in Western Uganda. Look at that!" There was one you took where you're behind a crater lake or something.
Yes,
and I was like, "Oh, she's calling this work? This is a holiday."
But also, I want to show people how beautiful this country is, so we shouldn't destroy it. Yes. And I'm a very big advocate for that. We have a beautiful country. Don't cut down the trees. Don't cut down the trees.
Don't destroy everything. Sorry, I took you off. You were saying the 16.
But for the 16, so the top 16. However, when we go for the M&E, we always meet other schools that were not part of the top 16 that have also started their businesses. You see,
so their ideas that were not
their ideas
for them, they continue.
Yes, they continue. So we still go on ground to see how well they've done it. Okay. And if the projects have actually gotten off the ground without our help, we then come in to see how best to assist them.
Oh, that's nice.
Okay, so that's why under national schools we have 3 tiers. You have the first tier, which is startup. Startup challenge is first time business idea generation. That's the startup challenge. Then you have the Biz Grow challenge. Whether you were part of the top 16 or not, but you started your project under national schools and it's still going on, you can actually come in and compete for more capital or for more investment into your business. The third tier is the alumni, like Josephat here. Okay, so for the alumni, then now you've left the school, you've started your own project. You now need a little bit of investment in that project. We also have that tier. But now we've also realized that teachers have started projects.
Oh, after seeing the students, I think, your kids go successful.
You can't talk about a journey that you haven't walked, right? Okay. So these teachers now have started. So we're going to start a 4th tier next year.
We'll have the teachers.
Tier. Yes, who are also going to be competing for investment in their business. But really, when you look at that ecosystem, again, in regards to seed capital is one thing. But by the time someone comes in and says, I want to invest in your business, or I want to work with you and see how you can grow, that shows us that as this country, there's a lot of capacity for us to help the youth.
Absolutely. Because
at any stage and at any level. Yes. This is done under national schools, true, but these are very innocent business ideas, like the Jews, or they're very simple business ideas. But yet in that environment, it works wonders. Yes.
And things don't have to be complicated, by the way. It's the most basic ideas that are always very, very successful.
Exactly, because they work for, and that's the problem is sometimes when we think of innovation,
it has complicated matters.
Thank you. It doesn't have to be
just deal with the gap.
Yes, and that's what we want to show, that guys, the gaps are many, and Uganda is one of the very few countries where you can still work without government being in your
stopping
business
you
or stopping you.
So
you're so lucky now. Let's use this chance and see how best we can grow this economy. Because we're funding zero, jobs. You have to create an avenue for our kids to thrive.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what national schools is doing.
Okay, I like that idea. But have you seen any difference? Say some schools that you worked with for a while. Have you seen some innovativeness in generally the people in the schools beyond the school championships?
Let me beyond the schools. Yes, beyond. So for example, now there's this young man, Isaac Kadenge. Young man, talkative students. I'm sure you're a talkative student because me, I was. Students, or those students who stay in the science lab. Those kids who are always calculating numbers in class, but English they fail. Those ones. This Isaac boy was he was always a science freak for the longest time. But what I love about him is he took that and took it out of the school environment and went outside and said, we have a gap with our small scale businesses around food restaurant vendors. Okay. They spend a lot of time. For example, if it's Irish is very big in the East. Okay. So Irish potatoes, for example, take a long time. By the time you finish peeling, what you need manpower to peel, then you pay, then you finish, then you can't meet demand, and so on and so forth. So he said, I think I can find a solution for this. And he came up with a machine that peels, washes, and cuts 10 kilograms of Irish potatoes in 3 minutes.
3 minutes?
In 3 minutes.
So you don't have to be there
toiling for hours. Okay. And this is because he's also interested in the food industry. And because of that, in fact, that led up to the idea even through national schools where he started a restaurant in his school.
He started in the school?
But you see, Mbale SS has over 5,000 students. So it was very easy to start a restaurant in his school. So this young man, and after he did it, again, empowerment. So the innovation was just perfect. But see, that was it. That was it. No one was really in it. Until, during national schools, I was like, but Isaac, I heard you did this thing. He's like, yes, I did it, but it's in the museum.
Oh, he had put it away.
Yes, it was done. He won a gift. And that was it, and a trophy. And he put it in the school. I said, now this is how you, and that's where national schools now, that's why we come in for things like that, beyond even the program,
beyond the winning,
beyond what can we do to help you? What can we do to help you advance in this innovation? But that's a young man that we are helping to move on to the next level. There's another school, the winning school this year, found a gap in because that is in Lira, that's Mentor S, with this learning tool, and you just need a torch. You just call in, you're given a code, you call in, and you're 30 students in a classroom, in a virtual classroom, but not an Android phone. This is whatever, what
Kabiditi.
Those Kabiditi and Katochi, those ones.
Yes.
And it's very easy. You can stay on and have your 45-minute class. It's a whole timetable. And they're always full, by the way. They're always quite full, even if it's still kind of like an expensive service, because they have to make sure they maintain it. But that is working so well that parents are, even if they even have a payment system, I don't have to pay the whole 100. I can pay in bits, but I need my students
you just
to
send
study.
your mobile money.
Yes, you send mobile money. Yes. And these are some of the innovations.
This is a perfect solution in COVID time.
Yes, it is. And then we say we have other learning tools, but you need Zoom and what?
I know that's
having a child in Lira or Guru, pick up Zoom.
Yeah.
You understand? And those are the solutions we want these young minds to look
think
at.
about.
Yes, there's nothing wrong with that advanced technology, but think of the gap in your community now. In your context. Yes.
Just get the solution.
Yes.
So let me, because I'm very interested in that edutele. I feel like it can be applied.
Are you going to invest in edutele? Should I put you as one of the... It's a very
I feel like it can be applied, because I was very upset during COVID, where I felt like the rich people were getting an education for their kids, but the poor people could not get an education for their kids.
Radios.
And but
and
so I felt like it's so unfair. We are creating an unfair world by by doing so. So that's why I feel like, because I feel like this is scalable. Edutele is totally scalable. Yes,
heavily scalable. Yes, and it's a simple solution that can be bought by a school.
Yeah, it can,
so it can be bought by a school. So a school can buy that and do it as a school. So the team that started it, all it gets is just a little bit of.
And the school can now have students who are not even in their geographical location. I mean, you can be in PG and teach a kid in Nakapidi.
And those are areas we are trying to expand. And you can be taught by other teachers as well. So those are all areas we are trying to.
Yes, because I remember when we were growing up, there'll be this fantastic math teacher, and then you'd all go there
because it's new, it's different. Yes. So, and those are areas we're trying to expand, but those are the kind of innovations that have come out of national schools. Things that 18-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 13-year-olds can actually do. Yes. And this is a platform we want to show everybody. Let's not ignore. Let's not ignore that young child or that young person, because that innovation could change this country forever.
Totally. Yeah. So Barbara, thank you so much for enlightening me. There's so many things I actually didn't know. Do you have any last words that you'd like to share?
So for me, and I honestly, Adamali, thank you for this platform. I think for me, what's very critical, and to all our viewers out there, parents and guardians, let's not ignore what values our kids have and their passion. If your child is good at something, do not beat them down to it. Show them that they have what it takes, and actually help them, support them, nurture that talent so that they can be able to achieve their dream. We've lived our dreams. We need to let go of our dream in our children and let our children live their dream, because the future belongs to them. And to me, those would be my last words, for I believe it can be when we empower our future leaders and job creators so that they can own this country's narrative. Thank you.
Thank you so much for watching the Ideation Corner. Please do subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much.